Rugby Championship, folks, is only about 11 days away as I sit here recording this. Who are the favourites for it? We'll go through the four teams. What kind of odds are they being given? What are their fixtures, which are already on the board? And you guys can let us know your thoughts. Now, I should say, we get these from the bookies, the old kind of betting odds with the implied probability. And last year they were right. The bookies had the Kiwis as the favourite and the South Africans as the second, and it finished 1-2. And then the Aussies in third with the Argentinians fourth. So the bookies called it last year. But how have the odds shifted? And taking into account, this is the abridged version of the Rugby Championship with the World Cup kind of looming large. This competition takes on that kind of slight flavour of Rugby World Cup warm-up, honestly, going into this Rugby World Cup. So, yeah, a lot fewer games to get the job done than we are used to seeing. We are going to start with the Argentinians. They've got the Kiwis at home, then two tough away trips to both Australia and South Africa. Remember, they do play South Africa in a non-Rugby Championship match at the end of the comp back home, so they will get the two home games, but in terms of actual Rugby Championship matches, it's just the one home game, and that's against New Zealand first up. So they're paying $21, which gives them a 4.1% chance of winning the Rugby Championship. Realistically, with the size of the squad that Michael Cheika has chosen for the Pumas, you'd say he's trying to get his house in order to be a finals team at the Rugby World Cup. I think lifting the trophy of the Rugby Championship is probably a bridge too far. They usually finish fighting it out for the wooden spoon, to be honest, but it's a great competition to have them in. They've been good servants of it. And their odds are actually up slightly from last year. Last year they were at 3.4%. This time 4.1%. So they are slightly more favoured. The Wallabies, they were predicted to come third last time. They are, with a new coach, predicted to come third once again. They are paying $6.50. So that gives them about a 13.1% chance of winning the Rugby Championship, which kind of seems a little harsh, given that the Aussies have got two of their three games at home, but they do start off with a tough trip to South Africa, so it doesn't get a heck of a lot tougher than that. Remember, the Aussies, like the Pumas, will be playing the non-Rugby Championship game, but their one's against the All Blacks over here in NZ, but their Rugby Championship game against the All Blacks is at home. I think it's in Melbourne this year, which is kind of not exactly a fortress venue. Now, unlike the Pumas, the Wallabies' odds are slightly down on last year, despite the fact that they've got Eddie in charge. They were 16.3 last year. This year, 13.1. So slightly less favoured with Eddie in charge. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just the draw. You guys will have to let us know. The South Africans are once again the second favourites, paying $2.75, which brings them out at 31.1%. So second favourite for the Rugby Championship, just behind the ABs. They are also down from last year where they were at 35.7. They have two of their three games at home as well, but critically, their one away game in the Rugby Championship is against the All Blacks. Now, maybe happily for the Springboks, it's not at Eden Park, because nobody tends to win at Eden Park other than the All Blacks, even when the All Blacks lost their home series to Ireland recently. Well, I say recently, it was last year. But the one game the All Blacks won was the Eden Park one, so it's at Mount Smart Stadium this year, so still in Auckland, but at more of a traditional rugby league ground. So, yeah, if you've seen the South African lineup, well, the squad, it looks pretty strong, but they are without Pollard, so it could make things interesting. And for the All Blacks, they are the favourites. If you guys have worked out the math by now, you will know they are at 51.7% chance, just paying $1.65. So kind of not huge money on the ABs. Away to Argentina, home to South Africa, and then away again to the Australians. Weird thing, though, is the All Blacks don't win the World Cup year Rugby Championship. 2019, it was... it was the Box, and 2015 it was the Aussies, and 2011 I think it was the Aussies. So, yeah, the abridged version is not the one that the All Blacks do that well in. But they are still going into this one as favourites. Remember, Anton Leonard-Brown's copped a suspension as well, so that's one of the All Blacks players who is kind of also out after his red card in that final of the Super Rugby competition. But there you go, folks. What do you reckon? Do you think the All Blacks are worthy favourites, or do you think the South Africans with their 2 home games or the Wallabies with their 2 home games could potentially be the ones to take it away in this abridged version? If you think these odds are all a bunch of muck that you can just chuck in a big old puddle, why don't you go check out 2 Cents on Tour? I'll put a card up there. It's a channel where I was in China recently, walking around with a camera, talking to people in Chinese, and there was big puddles everywhere. The drainage in China was kind of rubbish, so check it out. Go watch some videos there. The Rugby Championship still a wee way away. You got time on your hands. Subscribe to that channel if you wouldn't mind as well. It'd be doing me a great personal favour. Also, I should say we've opened a Super Brew pool for the Rugby Championship, so I'll put a link down in the description to the Super Brew pool as well. You could be like the URC's champion of our last Super Brew pool, which was Bath Mega Laser Gun, which is the best Super Brew name I think I've ever heard. For Super Rugby, it was Mr. Craig, and for the Premiership, it was Sergius Maximus. So you could be like those people. I have won a Super Brew pool before, but not in 2023, so I'll be giving it my best in the old predictions. But yes, you guys let us know your thoughts. Who do you reckon the favourites are? Do you think it matters in a World Cup year, or are your eyes kind of only really on that World Cup prize? You guys let us know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.